Hey everyone, I'm going to give you a quick overview of a game called Queen Domino. In Queen Domino, you're going to be making yourself a kingdom with different land tiles and trying to score out the most points at the end of the game. Let me show you what I have going on here. So I have this game set for 3 players, and each player would get a castle and a starting tile and a meeple. We have a stack of these other land tiles here, and to start the game you just set 4 out. And they have numbers on them, so you just put the lower number at the top and then you work your way down to the higher number. Over here we have the queen, and we have a dragon, and we have a bunch of these town tiles. I've laid out 6 of them here. Over here we have a bunch of castles that will be acquired through the game. We have a bunch of knights, we have a bunch of money here that we can get to, and we have a score sheet for the end of the game. Now, to explain the game, I'm going to just move these 2 castles out of the way because you would need lots of room to make your kingdom. Now, what you do is you take these tiles and you flip them over like so. All right. And let's just say the white player is going to go first. He gets first dibs on which tile he wants. So you can see on here the yellow, which I believe are fields. We have a mountain there. We have forest. We have water. There's a town tile. There's also plains and swamp also in the game. So he can pick whatever he wants. He gets to go first. So let's say he goes up here to the top. The purple player, let's say, picks that one for whatever reason, and the orange player picks that one, okay? So the white player will go first. He'll take this tile and he'll place it around his castle. Now, at first it's not so bad. The castle counts as a wild tile, so anything can go up against it. But after that, you see, you dig out another tile. Let's say later on the white player gets this tile. You could not do that, for example. You need at least 1 tile matching. So he could do this. So even though those 2 don't match, these do, so that would be a legal move, okay? And you're going to be building a 5x5 grid like that. In a 2-player game, it'll be a 7x7 grid, all right? So the white player has placed his tile, and then what we would do is bring out another 4 tiles randomly, like so, and then you put them in numerical order, like that. Flip them over, like so. And then he would be able to get first dibs on which one he wants. So maybe he goes down there. This tile would be discarded. So the orange player would play his tile, and he maybe picks that one. Purple guy picks that one, okay? So in the next round, the purple guy would place his tile first, and then he would get dibs on the next 4 that come up. Okay, and you just keep doing that, back and forth. The object of the game is to score the most points. And to do that, so let me show you how that works. I'm going to skip ahead here just to show you what you do. So in this case, I have a bunch of yellow fields going on here. And so if this were the end of the game, obviously it's not going to be the end of the game because it's just an example. But what you do is you count out how many matching tiles you have. So I have 1, 2, 3, and you multiply that by how many crowns you have. You can see there's a crown there. So 1, 2, 3 matching tiles times this crown would be 3 points. Okay? Here we have a green one by itself. So 1 times 1 crown is 1 point. Here we have a swamp. It is 1 tile times 1 is 1 point, and we have a mountain. There's no crown, so 1 times 0 is 0 points. Okay, you'd actually have more points. Obviously, there's only 3 tiles. You'd have a bunch more tiles like that. But that's how the scoring works, like that. Okay. Now, once you place your tile, another thing you can do, and one thing I did forget to mention, is that each player starts with 7 gold, is that you can go to the market. Now, let me show you the red tile here. The red tile, if you look at it, it looks like it's a town under construction, okay, or it's a building under construction, if you will. All right, and what you're building is one of these buildings. So these tiles here only go on the red tile. In order to buy one of these, you look at the bottom of it. So this tile here is worth 5 gold, 4 gold, and so on. And this one's actually free, okay? So the white player, after he places his tile, can, if he wants to, buy one of these tiles. Now I'm just going to place this here. Let's say he takes this one for free, all right? The first thing you do is you look up in the top corner here, and this is a one-time bonus. So here he gets a knight. I'll show you what a knight, like that, and he gets to take that into his supply, all right? If he had taken this tile, he would have gotten a castle, okay? If he would have taken this tile, he would have got a knight and a castle, okay, and so on, like that, all right? If he had picked this tile, for example, there's no one-time bonus at all. At the end of the game, this one, for example, is going to score him 1 point for every knight he has at the end of the game. So this is a pretty good tile. This one is going to score him 2 points. And it has another little bonus here, which I'll explain maybe in a little bit. And this one here is an interesting one. Let me show you what it does. It's 2 points per mountain area you have. So again, if this game were to end now, obviously it wouldn't, but this would count as a mountain region. Okay, so he would score 2 points because of that tile. Let's see if I can find myself another mountain region. Here we go. Let's see if I do this. Okay, like that. So again, this scores to be 2 points per mountain region. So I have 1, 2. So this tile here would be worth 4 points at the end of the game. Had I done it like this, this only counts as one mountain region because they're attached, right? So that would only be worth the 2 points, like that, okay? And so that's what we do. So now, actually, to show in this example, I had bought this one. I take my knight, and then you flip it up to the red side. It shows that whatever I was building, I've now built it. So I built an archery range, and I have my knight. Now, what does the knight do? Well, what he does is if I, let's say later in the game, got this tile and put it here, I can put it on this one, or this side, or if I had 2 knights, I could do both if I wanted. And what the knight does is he collects tax. And all you do is you count out how many of the same squares that you have, and that's how much gold you get. So in this example, I put this tile down, I put the knight on that yellow, I have 2 matching yellow, so 1, 2, so I collect 2 gold. All right? That's what he does. And he stays on the board for the rest of the game. So that's how you get your money to buy your buildings. Now this one here gives me a castle. And what do the castles do? Well, once you do this, you put the castle on like this. Whoever has the most castles gets the queen. The queen can come and visit. And what she does is she makes the buildings on the market cheaper by $1. So something that costs normally $5 for me because I have the queen would cost me $4. Something that costs $1 is now free for me. Also, at the end of the game, she counts as a crown. So I could place her on my largest region. So for example, if it's the end of the game, I could put her there. Right? So now, before that, I had 1, 2 times 1 crown is 2 points. But if I put her there, it's now 1, 2, and she counts as a crown. So it's 2 times 2 is now 4 points. All right? And so that's what she does. And also on this tile, just to explain, every time I go to collect tax with a knight, I also make $1 for every castle I have as well. Okay? And the other thing the castle does, so if somebody wants to take the queen from me as well, they have to now build 2 castles on this. Once somebody has 2 castles, they take the queen from me, and then somebody would have to have 3 castles and so on. Now another thing I didn't explain, down here, let's set some more of these out, but if I, let's say, buy this one, at the end of the round, let's say the purple player buys this one and the orange player buys this one, then these ones all slide down. So the expensive one gets more cheaper, then we put out some new ones, all right? Like so. Another thing you can do, you can see this one here is a very powerful one. It gives you 3 knights, for example. So if I'm going last, maybe next round, I can see that what I could do is I could pay the dragon and pay some money for the dragon to come and burn down one of these buildings. So he can go there, and that is removed from the game, and maybe my opponent doesn't get that one. That can only happen once per round, and then once the round's over, he resets and he can be bought again. So anyways, you keep doing that until you run out of tiles. Everybody should have close to a 5x5 grid. A lot of times it doesn't work out. There's some blank spaces there. And then you just tally up your points. You use the score pad here, and it's really simple. You just go through it, excuse me, and you score your points. Now, Bruno Cathala, the designer of this game, first made another game called King Domino, and you might see that in stores. And this is what's called the gamer's King Domino. There's a lot more going on in this game. King Domino is really a very simplified version of this one. And that's why I got this one, because I like a lot of stuff going on. The game is simple, and yet there's a lot to think about. And also, with a good tile laying game, when you're done, you should be able to look at your kingdom. And whether you win or lose, it's kind of cool looking at your kingdom and what you have. You might have a lot of swamp, maybe you have lots of water or lots of gold fields and stuff like that. But it is neat. The games are generally very close. Nobody usually runs away with it too much. Again, it's lighthearted. I think most people can pick it up after a little bit. And yet there's a fair bit to think about as well, and some strategy as far as planning out for your future moves. So if you're interested in playing Queen Domino, let me know. I will bring it to the table. Thanks a lot. Bye.